Okay. It's the Fleur de Lis. The name Suzanne Elizabeth means Fleur de Lis. Sorry, I'm eating a piece of ginger. Okay, let us speak the language of love. I meditated on myself, on my name, with my letters. Jesus means J, as in I, or the I, like the I, E-Y-E. In French, that's what J means I. And Sus, S-U-S, means Suzanne. Suzanne means God's favored flower. Lily in Hebrew. Jesus is the I, or the I, flower of life. Elizabeth means L, which also means lightning, electricity, and God. Is, I-Z, means is, I-S, and then A means A. And the word Beth means house, tower, body. Electricity and light in a house, a tower, or a body. So that is what Elizabeth means. Lightning or electricity in a house, or when the lightning strikes a tower, like in Back to the Future where the tower clock gets hit by lightning. Fleur de Lis means fleur means flower, lily, lotus. That's what it's referring to. Suzanne. Day means of. Liz, L-I-S, for Lee. Liz or Elizabeth. So the Fleur de Lis means Suzanne Elizabeth. But if we're talking about in reference to Jesus, because you're talking about a masculine, when you get to Sus, it actually means Susan, okay? And Susan, the name Susan, is not feminine. It's a masculine name. Susan is a boy's name, okay? That's why Johnny Cash sang a song called The Boy Named Sue. Susan in the Middle East is the masculine boy's name. In Persia, in Sanskrit, Susan means the destroyer. but it's coming as a boy, okay? A masculine. So we're not talking about me, okay? If you want to know where Susan comes from, it's from Persia. Hold on. Susan. It's the capital of the Elamite Empire. It's the first Persian Empire, the Sasanian Empire of Iran. Their deity is Inshushinak. It's the protector deity of the Elamites. And in Sanskrit, Susan means the destroyer. It means Shiva. Shiva. So, don't get it twisted, y'all. I know there's some crazy people out there. But we're not going to do it today. And Elizabeth in Hebrew meaning oath. My God is an oath. So if you want to find out what Jesus really means, okay, you're always going to see these pictures. Okay, he's always pointing to his heart. See the circle around it with the cross? Okay, let me pull that out so you all can see it a little better. See, Jesus is pointing to his heart right here, which has dielectric force. The blue shift, red shift. It's your heart's toroidal field. And he has his hand lifted up, pointing to his halo around his head. He's telling you the heart, there's two hearts, and one is in your brain, okay? This is what this is telling you right here. See, he's got the finger 2 up, like this. There's 2. He's pointing to his heart with a hawthorn wrapped around it, and it's pointing to the cross, okay? You can also talk about the Mazaroth. It's the crown of thorns on Jesus's head and heart, which are anatomically the same from the, I don't know what I was writing, from the brain's view posterior. I'll show you that in a minute. The hawthorn is referring to the astrological constellations. 12 sign plus the sun equals 13, okay? And that's how you get the lucky, or the number 13 into reality. But he's saying there's 2 hearts, okay? And he's pointing to his head. I mean, he's not like going, hey, it's right here, but he's pointing up, meaning in reference to his head. And his head's highlighted. Not only is he enlightened, but he's saying, hey, see this right here? We're talking about the head. See, the head has a highlighter on it. Okay? And you're like, what does that mean, Suzanne? Okay. Right here. It's talking about, when he's talking about his head, right here, he's talking about his head, okay? This is just any person's brain. This depiction, you can go onto an anatomy site called KenHub. It's a 3D virtual thing you can look at, anatomy book online, okay? So this is basically taken from that. I was looking at it because I used to work in medicine and as a nurse, and I was looking up some things relating to my work, okay? And so I was looking up on that 3D thing called Ken, K-E-N, Hub, H-U-B, and it was I took a picture of this, okay, and then I went to the computer and printed it off of my phone. And basically this diagram shows the alignment of I don't know what I was, did I even finish writing that? Yes, I did. It's showing your brain, okay? And how the front of your face, if you're looking at your face through your teeth, right here, not through, but here's your teeth, your nose, your two eyeballs, and then the top of your head. This is what it would look like. If you could see through your face, this is what part of it would look like, okay? See down here by the teeth, when you pray, okay, a certain way with your mouth, you push that stick right here, this stick right here, you push that up, you push it basically up, okay? And then this pushes this up, okay, in the brain, and then this releases that clamp looking thing right there, okay? And it opens your mind. It expands your mind. This is what is happening when you become enlightened, okay? And it wakes you up, right? Well, it doesn't wake you up. It wakes Jesus up, okay? This right here is the crown of thorns. This right here is Jesus right here, okay? And this is his legs, his feet, and this is his body, this is his arms, and that's his head right here. And the palate is right here in the roof of your mouth. So when you push behind your teeth, there's this mechanism in your gums. You can press it up, okay? It wakes Jesus up. Everybody has Jesus in their body, in their brain, okay? Jesus is in your brain. And the two hearts that Jesus is talking about right here, like this right here, this brain is in his head. This is not the real Jesus. This is one of the Pope's sons, okay? The Christians took a picture of one of the Pope's sons. I can't remember his name, but anyway, it was in the past. You can Google that stuff yourself. And this is the depiction. He was a beautiful man, okay? But this is what this thing right here, this depiction of Jesus with the legs, the body, and this little head right here, and it's nailed to the cross, okay? What that means is the cross section of your brain right here. See, it goes this way, and then right here in the middle is the cross section of your brain. If you want to see what this looks like on the inside of the brain, it looks like this, okay? From the front view, okay? Because this is the back view right here. But if you turn that around, this exact same thing from the front view is what it looks like here. Okay, so this, I took a picture with my phone while it was rotating and was spinning around, and I had never seen this in an anatomy book. And so when I went to this anatomy website for brains, okay, like the head, it was a more in-depth picture of what the actual inside of your brain looks like. And, okay, so that's the head, and it's attached. Looks like little nails up there. The head is attached to this crown looking thing. It looks like thorns, okay? And this is the cross section of the brain. And then there's the neck, and here's the little body and the little arm things right here. And there's only one little leg in that tail thing, okay? And his two little legs are put together on the cross. See, it looks like a cross. Anyway, you can believe what you want in life. And for all the people that are Christians out there in the world that are like, that's not Jesus, then I don't know what to tell you other than you're wrong. And this location right here, this thing right here, this thing that goes down right here, okay, this is another cross section of the brain right here. Okay, it's that part of the brain up here, okay, but if you slice it this way, this is what you're going to look at, okay? So when you look at it in an anatomy book, this is what you see, okay? But if you stripped it all away, all the matter, this is what's actually in there. And so that is that area right here. Right here. This right here is right here. See the little thing right here, this white stuff, it's very faint right here. That's this, okay? And this is a blood vessel. This thing right here, it's in the shape right here of a little heart. Can you see that? It's right here. But they amplified the picture here so you could see a bigger view of it. It's the heart. That's the second heart Jesus was talking about. See? He's saying there's two hearts. See the heart here in the body, in the chest cavity, and he's saying there's two, and he's pointing up to his head. That's the second heart. That's how people, when they come up with the Valentine's heart, that's the shape that it took, because it's literally in your body. That is a blood vessel, okay? And this little bony structure right here is pressing down on it, okay? And this is this part of the brain, okay? And this, it's hard to see, my fingers is fat, but see this white faint line right here, which is amplified right here so you can see it better. That is this right here, this stuff right here. That's what it looks like at a cross section of the brain. And so Jesus's heart is up above that. So that little heart vessel sits up in here. Okay. And that's why he's saying he's pointing to the head right here. See how he's saying there's two hearts, and he's pointing up to the head because the heart sits on top of the head right there. And that's what your brain looks like from this view. But if you cut that down, you would see what's on the inside of all the structure right inside of this. See, this is what it looks like if you took it all out, okay? But if you looked at it, if you looked at the brain and you went inside, you're going to see this thing right here, okay? They'll never show you that in an anatomy book like that. I've never seen it. But this is what it looks like. So for the regular people out there who are like, okay, I don't know, go to KinHub, you'll figure it out. But that's what your brain looks like, and this is what a slice of a section of it is, okay? And you can see the bone right up in there. And if you wanted to see what this looks like covered up inside the brain, because it does have a covering, okay, and it's right here. Okay. This is the human brain inner part aerial view. This is from Illustration of Intellectual Anatomical. It's that website right there. It's saying the human brain has the same general structure as the brains of other mammals, but has more developed cortex than any other. The human brain has many properties that are common to all vertebrate brains, including basic division into 3 parts called the forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain, each with fluid-filled ventricles at their core instead of generic vertebrate brain structures, including the medulla oblongata, pons, cerebellum, optic tectum, thalamus, hypothalamus, basal ganglia, olfactory bulb, which is your smell, and many others. And so that right here, okay, this is a stock photo, is this right here, but covered up in the brain. Do you see? That's the brain. To me, it looks like a little bee flying around, you know, like a little bumblebee. So there is that. And then the French started the wedding rings because of the Vesica Pisces. And this is the marquee cut right here. I'm sorry, my drawing is not that great, okay? But you basically understand that's the shape right there, right? It basically represents the holy union of 2 Tauruses. And what this means, okay, so when the diamond is split in half, you get it pushed together. So this is a person and this is a person, right? And it forms into this shape right here. And that is your Vesica Pisces. It's a marquee cut. So when this triangle going up merges down together and becomes a holy union, you get the Star of David, okay? So in Hindu, the perfect meditative states of balance. That's what this is. The father is David, the mother is Bathsheba, which is Shiva. And the son is Solomon. Okay, so if you want to know what the Vesica Pisces is, that's the shape right here. Okay, right there. And it's when 2 Tauruses, which is a circle here, and then this circle is here, and then they start to blend together, you get your Vesica Pisces, okay? These are your 2, you can consider this a person, each of these Taurus fields as a person with their aura expanding out, or you can look at this as your eyeballs, okay? You have 2 eyeballs on your head, but if you blur your eyes, if you bring your eyes together, and if you cross them, you will form what is known as the Vesica Pisces. And when you do that type of eye work, like if you practice doing blurring your eyes, you'll see things differently. It's when you blur your 2 actual eyes and the third eye is opened, you see different things. This teaches you, I call it the Jesus lens, because it's in the shape of a Vesica Pisces. Okay. And so if you're like, oh, what does that mean? So if you have a circle, this is associated with the number 1, okay? A circle represents the spirit and is feminine. And they also use it for protection. So when you have this triangle and it's going down, like in this shape, this represents air and fire, and it represents this in symbols, okay? From the point, the point goes down. Okay, so and this is feminine energy, okay? When you're talking about the elements, not the symbols, like symbols, they put symbols on trucks, you know? Like if you're driving in town and you see a work truck and it has a down triangle like this, that's going to represent air and fire, okay? But when you're talking about elements, a whole nother topic, it's feminine, okay? So when you're dealing with air and fire, the down is masculine. But when you're working with the elements, it is feminine energy, and it represents water and earth. So when you get to here, triangles are associated with the number 3. And when the triangle is pointing up, it's the ascent to heaven. The point going up is strong foundations and stability. As a symbol, it represents earth and water from going up. And when it's a male energy of fire and air, it's an element. Triangles, they use that by the occultists when they're summoning demons and people, okay? When paired up point to point, it represents sexual union and the principle of harmony. So if you look at this, okay, as a circle with a dot in the middle, that is a symbol of the sun, and also represents the symbol of gold, which is associated with the sun. And as the symbols are, this is a clock, okay? It's Horus or Aura. Notice the dot in the middle symbol for the sun, okay? But que hora es, which is Horus, okay? Aura, when you say que hora es, aura is your aura. So if this is, take away the clock, okay? Okay? Take away the hands on the clock, and it's just the gold symbol. If this represents you as the dot in the middle, this is your aura that you emit around. So you're a little circular cellular being. I'm just telling you what you are, okay? And then if you go to the time, like with the time clock, you notice it's in angles, which is like what Metatron does. It's a study of angles, trigonometry. So this basically makes one is longer than the other, and it gives you your hour and your minutes, okay? But that takes that chunk of that time, and it ticks in a triangle. And so if you want to know what Nikola Tesla was talking about, okay, when he said the power of 3, 6, 9, okay? So if this is the triangle going up, meaning if we're talking about symbols, because this is a symbol, okay, you're going to be talking about earth and water. These symbols is masculine, okay? So this is masculine because this triangle is going up. But you see this triangle is going down. So when Nikola Tesla was like, learn the power of 3, 6, 9, he's talking about this, which means Nikola Tesla was telling you about this. If you're talking about symbols, it's air and fire from the descent into the physical world. It's feminine energy. Okay, these are so that is what Nikola Tesla was telling you. Is he says if you understand the descent into the physical world, if you know air and fire, and also if it's feminine energy, you need to know water and earth. So he's telling you to learn the elements here, okay? But he says if you learn the power of 369, you have the keys to the universe, okay? So I just told you something there. You figure that shit out yourself, okay? Well, that's all I've got for today. I'm at 30 minutes, okay? And I'm sure I've got a whole lot of other stuff to talk about. I might make another video today. We'll see. Until then, au revoir.